The United States Border Patrol has exciting and rewarding career opportunities with the nation's largest law enforcement organization.
Earn great pay with outstanding federal benefits and up to $20,000 in recruitment incentives. Learn more online at cbp.gov/careers/USBP.
I need new music.
Discover new music now. JJO.
Madison Solid Rock 94.1 JJO. It's Brock, and it's time to discover new music. Joining me, Claudio Sanchez of Coheed in Cambria. You know him as obviously a super talented musician and probably, I'm going to say it, the best hair in the business. There, I've said it. It's out there. Kind of your calling card at this point. Are you tired of discussing the routine you need to get the flowing locks like that? Is it just exhausting at this point, Claudio?
No, it's it's painless.
Painless. Good. 2005, I was a frosted tipped intern, bright eyed and bushy tailed. And you guys just released Good Apollo. I'm Burning Star 4, Volume 1, From Fear Through the Eyes of Madness. You did this little meet and greet acoustic set at, I think, Capitol Records store, downtown Chicago. But long story short, it was effing packed, line out the door. I mean, you couldn't move. And as I was remembering that, I'm like, oh my God, that was 2005.
To think that even, like just this band being, professional now 20 years is like far beyond anything we could have expected. That's for sure.
Well, you're obviously doing something right. And now here we are all these years later. We have the latest album coming out at June 24th is the release date, correct?
Right. Yeah. It got moved because of some situations with vinyl and the relic that we're manufacturing for the deluxe edition. So yeah, we had to move it.
Vaxis 2, A Window of the Waking Mind. Other than, I believe, 2015's album, all of these have been part of a series, which you are obviously the creator of, the Amory Wars, with it being a concept and almost this story that has progressed. And again, with you and your wife working on this, the creators of it and everything, do you have the light at the end of it? Do you know where this story is going to end, or is it changed with you and where you're at in life?
Right. It's a little bit of both. As far as like where a part is supposed to end in the overall like arc, I understand where it's supposed to go. Mm-hmm. But like you're saying, life really sort of curates what the actual content of the story is. So I put a lot of myself in it, all depending on the things that I'm experiencing. I mean, it has a lot to do with the world building. Mm-hmm. So yeah, when I think about, if I could put it in a kind of way, like when I think about the original sort of arc, the Good Apollo, with the one that Good Apollo took place in, a lot of that I wrote that music through my adolescence, becoming sort of a person, and I can see a lot of that in those stories. Whereas now with this Vaxis pentology, I sort of now see myself as the father, and being a dad, I put a lot of those emotions into the music. So
the characters are maturing along with you as the story unfolds, and you see that progression through it. You're growing with the music, and even these characters that you guys have made up. Is that fair to say?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Though, in the Vaxis arc, we do introduce the readers and listeners into a set of new characters. Mm-hmm. And as far as like where that kind of world, where that takes place in the timeline of the pre-existing Amory Wars is still undetermined. So we're like kind of, we're just really introducing a whole new cast of characters. And then as the stories progress, we're going to start to introduce some connecting through lines to that original arc. So
is it harder to write the story out or the music for the story? Or is maybe, I'm sure they both have their own challenges, but what's almost bigger hurdles?
Right. Well, I think the writing of the story, like being, translating the music into story, that's where my wife kind of comes into play. Mm-hmm. She really kind of helps me because for the longest time, it's been a challenge, to try to get music. I've been writing for a very long time, and not that that's easy either, but I just feel more comfortable like constructing song and trying to put story into song, whereas then like going and penning it all together and like detailing it. I could use the help, and my wife has become that for me. So
luckily you got her back there doing pulling the strings, making that happen. Right. Concept albums obviously nothing wrong with your typical songs about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. You know, we all have those. Those
Right.
are great. We got those. But the concept album, and you look back at maybe like the Pink Floyd days, and you have Tommy, you know, and these characters, these stories. Was there ever an album or maybe artist that really stood out with you that kind of took you on this concept journey?
I think there's a few of them. Well, one, funny you say Tommy, you know, I wasn't a fan of The Who growing up, but I did go with my high school to see Tommy on Broadway.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. And so I think that may have had a little hand in playing around with my subconscious. I did see Pink Floyd in '94 on the Division Bell tour. And then, you know, seeing that made me go down the rabbit hole of revisiting The Wall and playing, you know, Dark Side of the Moon against, you know, The Wizard of Oz.
Yep.
But I think one of them that doesn't really get put into that category often is the Beatles. You know, I think of like the White Album. I think of, you know, Abbey Road, the second side of Abbey Road. There's some interesting storytelling there, even with the conspiracies of Paul being dead and the way they sort of played against that in some of the songs. Like, so yeah, those would be probably the big three for me.
Madison Solid Rock 94.1 JJO. I'm Brock, and my guest for JJO Discover New Music is Claudio Sanchez of Coheed and Cambria.
Do you want me to lie?
My name is Claudio Sanchez, and I play in the band Coheed and Cambria.
Who's more tenacious, Claudio? Is it the comic book people or the music people?
I think because they are, there's a very symbiotic relationship between both the comics and the music. It's tough to say. I mean, if we were to say just outside of Coheed and Cambria, maybe comic fans, but yeah.
Do you ever have people give you notes on where they think it should go or what you should do with the characters and everything?
Oh, absolutely. That happens. That happens. And I think that's amazing. I really welcome that because I am a fan. You know, that's why I do what I do. And Star Wars comes out with a movie. I have my own ideas of what that is, you know, or whatever, so I'm into that. I love it. It's, I feel very, very lucky to have that.
I guess, you know, it's nice to know that people care enough or invested enough in the characters. Are like, what I think you should do. Why don't we tweak this? So let's send them down this way. Yeah, for sure. That fandom is in there. And obviously you guys have made so many great albums and taken people on this journey. Album, obviously, which will be out June 24th again, Access 2. Do you have a favorite song on the album? Maybe one that really either brings the story to a point or just something that really speaks to you or something that you really latch onto on the new album? You know,
it's so tough for me to answer that question, but because I love them all. I think as a body of work, I'm really excited about the journey the music takes you through. But if I had to pick one, maybe The End, maybe A Window of the Waking Mind, the title track, just because everything kind of comes to a head there. And there's some interesting like things that, you know, are new to the Coheed fold. But yeah.
If you have a couple minutes, we're going to do rapid fire and we're going to get really deep into your brain. Sound good?
Okay.
These are the most important questions you'll ever answer in your entire life.
All right.
Being facetious because they're dumb questions. DC or Marvel? I'm sorry. I started off with a hard one.
Oh, it's so tough. If I had to choose one, I'd probably choose DC.
DC. Okay. Would you rather have Batman's belt or Iron Man's suit?
Probably Iron Man's suit. I would rather Batman's belt just because I'm a Batman fan over Iron Man. But you know, I'm going to get a lot more done in that suit.
Just have the suit set up, do its thing, man. I love it. Chili dog or corn dog, or neither.
Yeah, maybe neither. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I try to. Yeah, I probably neither at where I'm at right now.
Now, and you got to spend so much time at the gym after one chili dog. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Would you rather see Bigfoot or El Chupacabra?
Oh, what is El Chupacabra? Is that like
that's the, I believe it's like a Mexican monster, like part dog and wolf and hairless, I believe.
Well, if Bigfoot is anything like Harry from Harry and the Hendersons, I'll go with Bigfoot.
Just so you know, Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm was the same thing. She's like, if he's nice Bigfoot like Harry and the Henderson,
All right.
we're good. We're good. He's not like the Jack Links messing with Sasquatch type deal, who's just a dick, you know? He's nice. He's good. He's good. Would you rather take one punch from Mike Tyson or 100 punches from the Where's the Beef Lady?
Maybe 100 punches from the Where's the Beef Lady.
I mean, that's a story right there, man. You got 100 punches. Rest her soul, obviously. Rest in peace. Where's the Beef Lady? I don't know. If you've seen recently, there's been two people who have messed with Mike Tyson, like on an airplane.
I know.
I got beat up, and then the other guy. What are these people thinking? I just don't understand.
Yeah, really. Leave the guy alone.
He could murder you with one punch. All right. I think that's it. That's all the hard-hitting questions we had to cover.
All right.
Folks, Coheed and Cambria, new album out June 24th. Claudio, thank you so much, man. I appreciate the time.
Oh, you got it. Thank you for having me.
Always, brother. Always.
Discover new music now on the homepage of WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts.